stacking winning days. That's the motto of today's episode. Stack winning days. Consistency is key in sports betting. We have gone back-to-back days in the green, and it feels really good because we could not buy a game for a few days there. Had a little losing streak, but we are firmly back in the profit, and we are not going to stop anytime soon. Not with these picks that I've got cooked up for the wonderful Sunday edition of Pick 5, Win 5. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else in between. Welcome back to my daily betting show where it is my job to give you my 5 favorite plays in the sports betting world. We are coming off of a 3-2 day yesterday. 3-2, humble, modest, just about a unit's worth of profit. I took the over in the Orioles-Mariners game. That was a horrendous decision. Neither one of those teams wanted to score a run. I can't blame them. There was some really, really good stuff on the mound being displayed. Shout out to the Washington Nationals for crushing a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 9th inning against the Athletics to get us our second straight money line win for that very team, the Nationals, and a couple other smart, savvy picks out of us. We are not complaining. Any day where you take money away from the sports books, where you beat the system that is designed to make you lose, it's a good day. And we are going to try to carry some of that good feeling and good sentiment and good karma over into these Sunday picks. Guys, I've got 5 really good ones lined up for you. Before I deliver them, though, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. I am coming out with betting picks every single day. All sorts of other videos during the NFL season are on the horizon, the near approaching horizon. That's not English, but what is English is the Detroit Tigers money line versus the Boston Red Sox. That's where we're going for the first pick of the show. Now, I like this pick for a few reasons, but one of the big ones is that the Tigers are going to be starting Eduardo Rodriguez. He is 8-5 with a 2.75 ERA and a 1.05 WHIP, and of course, a former Red Sox looking to get his revenge here. He's taking on Cutter Crawford, who has been having a good season for Boston. He's 5-6 with a 3.80 ERA and a 1.15 WHIP. Now, a few days ago, maybe even closer to a week ago, I was talking smack about Erod, saying that he wasn't the same player post-injury, and I think that I was right to a certain extent, but he's been dialing it back on as of late. This was a guy that looked like he was going to be in Cy Young contention until he was out for a couple of months. In 2 starts this month, he's only given up 2 earned runs. He's got a 1.38 ERA, and he's just fresh off of a 7-inning shutout. So he's coming into this game feeling really good about himself. Now, Crawford, like I said, it's been a really good season for him, but he has been about the mid-3s this month and last month. He gave up 3 earned in 3 innings the last time we saw him, and that was against the Kansas City Royals. So that is just a little bit of a situation to monitor. Not saying that he's been on a terrible trend, but certainly Rodriguez has been better over the last couple of times that we have seen him. The Red Sox won game 1 in this series 5-2. The Tigers outdid them by 1. They won the second game 6-2. But if I'm looking at the Tigers offense, they have won 4 of their last 5. The offense has been a big part of that. They've gotten it done on the mound as well, but also in the box. The bullpens between these two teams are very similar, and the Red Sox scoring has been down recently, whereas the Tigers, they're never going to give you consistent offense, but we have seen more and more of those good days and fewer of those bad days. And again, the Red Sox, they have still been winning games, something like 4 of their last 6, but the offense has been way down, way down compared to where it was for most of the season. I don't like that, especially with Rodriguez on the mound and how locked in he's been. So we're going to take the Tigers money line for the first pick of the show. For the second one, we are going to the Atlanta Braves versus the New York Mets. We're taking the Braves money line because anytime you get the Braves money line for a fair price, I have it at -130 at the time I'm recording this, you take that bet. Now, the Braves have stomped the Mets into the center of the earth in this series. They're up 3-0 in the series. They have won by a combined margin, you ready for this? 34-3. They are winning the series 34-3. What else needs to be said? I mean, come on. This hasn't even been close. This hasn't been competitive. The Mets have been shut out in 2 of the games. The only reason this line is even close to favorable for the Mets, the only reason it's a fair price, I should say, is because on the mound for the Braves here is going to be Yanni Kirinos. He's really bad. He's 5-4 with a 4.83 ERA and a 1.32 WHIP, and he's just been getting smoked lately. It's been ugly. And he's taking on Kodai Senga, who's good. He's 8-6 with a 3.24 ERA and a 1.30 WHIP. Now, the one thing I will say, their WHIPs are nearly identical, which is just a little something to keep in the back of your mind. Senga also, he's still been good, but the ERA has been rising from the high 2s, low 3s, to closer to the high 3s lately. When you're going against an offensive juggernaut like the Atlanta Braves, who are doing what they've done to the Mets so far this weekend in this series, Braves, obviously there's no way you're betting on the Mets in this spot. If you want to fade the Braves because you think the odds makers have a trick up their sleeve, okay, maybe I'll understand that. But nobody in their right mind is betting the Mets here. Of course, famous last words, watch the Mets win 20-0. But I still love the Braves, like I said. And even if Kirinos gets into trouble early, if you go back to June 1st, the Braves have the best bullpen ERA in all of baseball. It's the Atlanta Braves. You can't bet against them. You might be able to fade them, but you can't bet against them. Money line, that's the second pick of the show. The third pick, I'm going to take the Texas Rangers money line. I'm just now realizing all 5 picks today are money lines. How about that? Maybe that's a first on the show. The third pick of the show is the Texas Rangers money line versus the San Francisco Giants. Now, this is 100% a trap line. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There is no way on God's green earth that the Rangers should be plus 126 underdogs on the money line against the San Francisco Giants. So I am firmly and acutely aware that I am walking into a trap with this pick, but I'm still doing it. Now, let me break down why. So on the mound for the Rangers here is going to be Dane Dunning. He's 9-4 with a 3.21 ERA and a 1.15 WHIP, taking on Logan Webb of the Giants, who's 9-9 with a 3.38 ERA and a 1.09 WHIP. Both of these guys have looked excellent so far this month. They both got 2 starts. Dunning has a 2.63 ERA during that time. Webb has a 2.13. Now, let's talk about why you would go with the Rangers in this spot. The Giants have lost 4 straight games and 6 of their last 7. They are down 0-2 in the series. The Rangers have won 10 of their last 11 games, only lost 1 time since the trade deadline. Now, the Giants bullpen is significantly better than the Rangers. That is 100% a fact. And if this game is close, let's say it's tied up going to the 9th inning, maybe you're going to start to get sweaty palms. But the reason I can't take the Giants, if you look at their last 22 games, they are averaging 2.9 runs. 2.9 runs per game over their last 22. That is an extremely large sample size. This team is hitting .205 at the plate since the All-Star break. I cannot bet on that. I know for a fact it's a trap line because, like I said, there's just no legitimate reason the Rangers should be plus 126. I know they've got a couple injuries. By the way, Jonah Heim might be on his way back. He's taking full batting practice. The manager said that he doesn't think he's going to have to be designated for assignment or go down to the minor leagues. He thinks he is just going to slot him back into the lineup. That could be today on Sunday. Now, it might not be, so if you are on the fence and you want to wait until the lineup comes out closer to the game, I understand that, and I definitely would advise that if you're on the fence. But I like the depth that the Rangers have at catcher. I don't think they need him to win this game. It's a little scary. Again, I'm walking into the trap, but you know what? I'm doing it with my head held high, my eyes to the sky, and I think that this Rangers team is going to cover this money line. Excuse me. Let's go to the fourth pick of the show. I'm taking the Padres money line versus the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, on the mound for the Padres will be Seth Lugo. He is 4-6 with a 4.19 ERA and a 1.26 WHIP. Taking on Brandon Pfaadt, who I love his last name. He's 0-6 with a 7.16 ERA and a 1.47 WHIP. Now, Lugo got absolutely cooked by the Dodgers the last time he was on the mound. It was ugly. I'm trying to pull this from memory. I think it was three something innings, 8 earned runs. It was just ugly. But what I will say, and I will come to his defense, is the month before that, he did have a 3.45 ERA. And I'll come to the defense of Pfaadt as well, because even though he's got a 7 ERA for the season, he's been just about the low 4s over his last 4 starts. So he's starting to figure it out just a little bit. He's only 24 years old, so it's going to be expected that there's going to be peaks and valleys. The one thing I will say here is both these teams have been losing a lot of games lately. However, if you look at the ways that they've been doing it and the ways that they have been finding the occasional wins here and there, the Padres have still kept their explosive capability at the plate. Like, they will lose 11-10 or they'll win 13-4 and then they'll get shut out the next day. But you still do have those spikes. With the Diamondbacks, it's been a lot of flat lines at the bottom. And even the games they win, they're not scoring a ton of runs. They're averaging just 2.3 runs over the last 10 games. Now, they did win yesterday 3-0, but they lost 10-5 on Friday. The Diamondbacks bullpen has also just been egregious. It's been atrocious lately, and it's getting worse. Now, the Padres is not amazing. I would say it's probably still a bottom 10 ERA, but the Diamondbacks is in that bottom 5, bottom 3 discussion. And like I said, it is getting worse. The Diamondbacks also greatly exceeded most of their offensive metrics, the slugging and the OPS and all that stuff. their numbers were way above what the expected metrics said they were supposed to be at. And you've seen a lot of hardcore regression to the mean. And again, just with the way things are going on offense, and also Lugo is a better pitcher than Fat. Even if he got lit up his last start, he's a better pitcher than him. I like the Padres here. Yes, the line is juiced, and they are away. They play worse away from home than they do at home. But still, too many reasons to go with the Padres. So that's what I'm going to do for the fourth pick of the show. And now we're at the fifth and final pick, guys. It's coming up in just a second, but one quick reminder, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. I say this every day before the fifth pick, so I'm sure the longtime subscribers are really annoyed with me because I always do it. So you know what, we're just going to move on swiftly into the fifth and final pick. It is the Milwaukee Brewers money line versus the Chicago White Sox. On the bump for the Brew Crew will be Freddie Peralta. He is 8-8 with a 4.28 ERA and a 1.19 WHIP. And I will say a 1.19 WHIP is not bad considering he has a 4.28 ERA. He's taken on Dylan Cease of the White Sox, who's 5-5 with a 4.42 ERA and a 1.41 WHIP. Now Peralta has been really good as of late. He's got a 2.77 ERA this month, and he had a 3.63 last month. Meanwhile, Cease has a 9 ERA in 2 starts this month, and he had a 4.50 last month. He's not a 9 ERA pitcher, but he is on a little bit of a cold streak right now. Since the All-Star break, the Brewers are better than the White Sox in every major offensive category: scoring, home runs, batting average, OBP, OPS, slugging, all that stuff. It all favors the Brewers. They have also won the first 2 games of the series and 4 of their last 5. The only thing I can say is the Brewers, both of those wins in this series were both by 1 run. I believe it was 7-6 and then 3-2. So the games have been competitive, but not only do I like Peralta better than Cease, the Brewers also have the much better bullpen. The game is in Chicago, so maybe that's a little bit of something to hold on to if you are a White Sox fan or better. But the Brewers, they're 10 games over 500 overall. They're 4 games over 500 on the road. So they play just about as good on the road as they do at their home field. A lot of reasons to go with the Brewers here. So for the fifth and final pick of the show, we are taking them on the money line. Let's do the final rundown here on this wonderful Sunday. Hope you guys have some good plans lined up. For me, I'm going to be watching a lot of English Premier League soccer. It is the opening weekend, not the opening, but the return weekend for them, and I'm really feeling good about that. My favorite team is Chelsea. Up to Chelsea. Let's go. London is blue. If you want to leave some comments, because you are a Chelsea fan, most likely you're not. Maybe you want to leave some hate comments, whatever. Final rundown here. Detroit Tigers money line versus the Boston Red Sox. Atlanta Braves money line versus the New York Mets. Texas Rangers money line versus the San Francisco Giants. San Diego Padres money line versus the Arizona Diamondbacks. And Milwaukee Brewers money line versus the Chicago White Sox. Guys, that is going to do it for the Sunday episode of Pick 5, Win 5. Subscribe to the channel if you want to be tuned in for more betting content. Like the video if you did enjoy. Comment, let me know what your favorite picks of the day are, which of my picks you like, which of them you don't like. And until next time, I will see you all very soon. Have a great day.